If you're new here, I'm Sandy. Wow, that was high pitched. Sorry, I'm Sandy. I do crafts. If you're joining me again, thanks so much, and thank you so much for bearing with me. I've been away for a few weeks. I went to Greece for my friend's wedding. And while I was there, I got a job that I started pretty much right after I got back. So I have been manic in a good way. It's been a very busy spring. And it's good to have an excuse not to do the whole cleaning thing. You know what I mean? If you are new here, just some housekeeping things. You probably hear my bird chirping away. He does that. I love his singing, so I keep it in. And my dog Baxter is sleeping right now, but he might run around. It's kind of his world. We all just live in it. So, on to the crafts. I have a lot of finished things to show you. Well, I'm looking at it now, not like a lot, but like for me a lot, you know? These are slow crafts. So you've seen the hat. You've seen the blanket. And now, for the first time, the finished sweater. That's right, this guy is finished. So, I finally have this set. I mean, I finished it just in time for summer, which is fine because I think my nephew needs realistic expectations of his Aunt Sandy's crafting timeline. So yeah, so if you're new here, this is the Debbie Bliss set. Debbie Bliss Bare Necessities set. It comes also with another sweater option and a teddy bear, but I just did these three. I have been working on this for a very, very long time. It is adorable. I'm so happy it's finished. Yeah, it's just so cute with the little teddy bear faces. Yeah, so I'm happy to finally be finished that. It's gonna get sent out hopefully this week, depending on what happens Thursday. It's weird working outside the home now because I have to actually like plan what I'm doing. But yeah, I think it is the cutest little set in the world. I'm so happy to finish it. You know, I did it in the recommended Cashmerino yarn, and I complain about this set a lot because it's been a long time. It's one of those things. But at the end of the day, man, it turned out so cute. I look at it and I can't help but smiling. I am so happy for it. So yeah, I'm gonna do a full review, I think, on just the pattern, but it's done. And I have a bit of a thing. When I'm done one thing, I need that like high of finishing to last, so I immediately go and start like 1,000 new things. But this time it was actually sort of like knitting wise important because I needed something to do on the plane. I love to knit on planes. I think airports are amazing, and we kind of had one day in Athens and then we went to Paros, this island, and it was a 4-hour ferry. So I started from the plane, Dublin to Athens, and I got pretty much on that plane ride. No, not pretty much, I did. I finished it. I had to crappy break the yarn because I thought I was going to start on this, but then we were landing soon. So this is the headband. It's called the Canadian Cottage headband, and I still have to, I think the way you sew it together is like that, and then it has sort of a twist at the front. It's really cute. I did it because I've never seen a stitch like this before. The pattern's on Ravelry. It's a really, really good, like, it's a solid pattern. It's, well, I mean, this is the thing. It's like one of those things. It's very much just you buy it to learn this stitch. So if you like this stitch, it's worth it. If not, it's literally just like any other headband pattern. You know what I mean? But for me, I really liked this stitch. And so, yeah, so I finished this. The ferry there, we got the 5 a.m., or no, we got the 7 a.m. ferry, so we had to be up at 5 a.m. I'm not a 5 a.m. girl. I'm just not. The day before was a Sunday, and I mean, kind of thank God, because they have so many cool craft shops in Athens that were all closed. And it was good because, you know, given how much weight we had, because the way Aer Lingus does it now is instead of getting a carry-on as your cheap one, you get like a 10 kilo check bag, which I think is really cool because it means that I didn't have to worry about like, oh, okay, what makeup am I taking, da 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 da, but it was also bad because it was like, I can make everything. And again, we were going to a wedding, we were going to like a formal event, so it was a bit of a different vibe, but, you know, it is what it is. We basically just hung around Athens, and then I got a ton of footage that I'll put after I finish talking. But yeah, we hung around Athens, we walked around, but the thing is, apparently the thing to do, we went to the market was closed, but apparently what you do is you have a drink and you listen to DJs, so we did that. And then we went out to dinner, and the place we went to dinner was really good, and they had this really nice wine, and then we ended up at this rooftop bar, because there's so many rooftop bars overlooking the Acropolis, and then they had that kumquat liqueur that you had in Welcome to the Girls, like that they had, and then the guy was from Corfu, so of course I had to try it, and then he wouldn't stop bringing it, and it was just, he wouldn't stop bringing it because I wouldn't stop ordering it. It was so good. So basically, I was not at my best on this ferry ride. We got there, apparently in Athens, if you want to get this boat, you usually should get there a couple hours early, so we had these really weird seats. We were tired. The hotel in Athens was amazing, but they made us a breakfast, and it just wasn't, like, I'm not a picky eater, but I like what I like. Like, for me, one thing I cannot stand is butter on cold sandwiches. I think it's so gross, it's slimy, and that was the main thing, and then I don't like eating yogurt and this and that, and so I was grumpy, I was hungry, we were under-caffeinated, and also I'd been up since 5 in the morning. We were on this ferry at 6:30, or like at 6, I think even, and I was just dead. I was not in a good mood. To be fair, you probably could have served me like a truffle omelet, and I would have been like, just take it away, I don't want anything, I'm done. So yeah, so I was gonna cast this on, didn't happen. I ended up getting some sleep, which was nice because we got there and basically went straight into wedding activities, bachelorette party. I had to finish sewing her wedding dress. The wedding was on Wednesday, and I finished sewing her wedding dress basically Monday and Tuesday, which is hilarious because at my wedding, she came basically right off her flight from Germany to my parents' house to help me sew my bridesmaids' dresses. So apparently that's just what we do. We get married and we sew the things that are meant to be worn far too soon. But we did it. We got that dress. That sucker was done. It was applique work I was doing. It was some of the best work I've actually ever done. It was... She looked amazing. The wedding was phenomenal. I am obsessed with this island. It's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been, so I was really excited by that. But anyway, so I have my headband. I'm trying not to talk too much about the trip because I know I sound obsessive and I know it's not interesting to anybody. Or, well, not to anybody. Some of you will be interested, but the ones that aren't, you know. But, look, you're listening to me ramble about my life. That's why. Again, when this is finished, I'll probably put up a separate review. So if you just want the crafts, watch those. If you want this, then I'm here for ya. So I cast on on the ferry back, the scarf. So basically this is the exact same, well, it's going to be a cowl. This is the exact same stitch pattern as this, but I've just done a 3-stitch seed stitch border. So it lays flat, and then I'm not too worried about this curling because I'm going to sew it up as a cowl. You may be wondering why it's off the needles. Well, it was all good. I got this much done on the ferry. I had to kind of take it apart a couple times because I wasn't sure how wide I wanted it, and I was doing a lot of experimentation. You know, just doing what you do, and it finally happened when we got to the airport. I have flown with my knitting needles across 4 continents. I have flown many airports. Like, I'd need probably over 20 airports I brought knitting needles through. Athens was the one. This is the first time I've had my knitting needles taken away from me. And Adam was pissed because I think he knew there was like a mix-up in our minds because we got the 7 p.m. ferry the night before. And so our flight was at 10. So we said, okay, we need to leave at 7 to get to the flight at 10 and it'll be fine. But somehow throughout the day in Athens, which we had a really fun day. It was really cool seeing everything, like, kind of, because it was a Saturday. So it was really cool seeing everything up and about and, you know, gorgeous. And somehow in our heads we got that the flight was at 7. And so at around like 4 we left for the airport, like 4:30. And so we had already been sitting there for a while. I was kind of anxious. Like, it was fine. And at the end of the day, I'm so happy that we got it the other way around instead of thinking it was at 10 and the flight was at 7. You know what I mean? But it was just giving me anxiety. I was anxious as well. I was sad the trip was ending. So Adam just knew he would have to sit and deal with me not being able to knit on this flight. And I'm not a nervous flyer by any means. Like, I have never been a nervous flyer. But yeah, I was just in a mood. Not a bad mood. I was just, you're tired. It had been a big day because we got up to have breakfast. We wanted to spend the day in Athens and make the most of it. So, it is what it is. But yeah, and it's funny because I've actually talked to some other people who knit, and a lot of people have said that Athens will take away your knitting needles. So Greece, not knitter friendly. Sandy's vibe friendly, but not knitter friendly, which is really, really sad. I am just waiting for knitting to become mainstream so we can open up yarn shops in airports and just get this whole thing. But yeah, so right now this is on the wayside. Luckily I had only brought flat needles that were replaceable, but it was just kind of sad because I think those were one of my like first pairs. No, they weren't. I don't even know where I got those. Maybe in a knit crate? I don't know. Anyway, this is good because now I think I've just gotten rid of the sentimental attachment. But it is a thing of like, I just think maybe I am a little nervous because I'm playing with my hair a lot. No, it's just sad. But now I know I will never ever bring knitting needles through Athens security ever again. It was just, I think also too, maybe it was just the woman in, like, she'd had 3 women before me who didn't, like, even take off their jewelry, and they were just, I think, really bothering her, so I think she was just in a bad mood. And Adam was sitting there, but you took them here, but you took them through this airport, but you took them through this airport, and I'm like, it's not me, it's her, she's already thrown them away, we're not going through the garbage, get over it, like, Then we went and had a coffee, and I felt better. But, yeah, so I also bought a book, so it wasn't too bad. But yeah, so that's that. This is on hold right now because I have them on interchangeables, and I'm not going to buy the flats if I have the interchangeables. But the cord I need is currently occupied with another project. So one of my friends has told us he's going to have a baby girl, and that's very exciting. So naturally she gets a little knit set. So this is the little bonnet. I mean, come on. Like, is that not so sweet? This is the Heirloom Set by Paintbox Yarns. I'm just doing the bonnet and the sweater. I might do the booties if I have enough yarn, but I have this in my stash, so we're kind of playing yarn chicken at the best of times. That's why there's a lot of changes mid-row, which I know you're not supposed to do, but like, it's what the rich folks say. Some rich people nonsense. And then I have the body of the little sweater done. It is the cutest set. So it's got this little lace work. Speaking of the yarn, this is Rico Everyday Merino. Everyday Merino. It's a DK weight. It's 100% merino. It is so cute. The friend who is having this, him and his partner are both the type of people who understand how wool works, so they will take care of it, so I don't feel bad giving it to them. And I'm just on the sleeve right now. It's a little raglan sleeve. This, I've been wanting to make this for a long time because I saw it ages ago when I was hunting for patterns for my first nephew. And I was just like, oh, these people need to start having some girls. So I'm so excited. I think it's turning out so cute. It looks very just like grandmother's vintage, you know, which is a look I love. It is so sweet. And then there's gonna be little pom-poms on the end of these. Oh, like, I am into this. So yeah, so I'm on the sleeve now, but I need this cord for my Cottage set for winter, and I need these needles to do all my sweaters that I have on the go. So we're gonna finish this and then work on it. Oh, also I forgot to mention, This yarn it was a knit crate yarn. They used to do this Mrs. Crosby's traveling yarn thing. So this is that yarn. It's 95% superwash merino and 5% nylon, or 85-15, but it's those two. It's really nice. Kind of sad knit crate went out. They had some good stuff, but you know, what can you do? Yeah, so that's kind of my couch project now. And now that I have a commute, I need something to do on said commute. So I have cast on a sock. Well, I finished one sock. I have another to do. I realized I haven't made a sock in almost a year. So is this perfect to the pattern? Don't think so. But it turned out all up pretty good for, you know, there was a bit of thinking of me just being like, Kitchener stitch. There was a lot more than But yeah, I think she turned out really well. This is the Winter Rose sock. It's by, I want to say Helen Stewart, but I'm not sure that's right. She does these Handmade Sock Society patterns every year, and they are so good. They're specifically designed to be like easy, but like easy enough that they're relaxing, but enough there that you don't like zone out, that it's not boring. So yeah, and she's nailed it. This is so cute. When it's stretched out, the pattern looks even better. And this is on the Apple Oaks Fibre Works base. They're an Irish company, and they do these really good die kits. It's natural die kit. So this one I'm like 80% sure is the hibiscus one. I did not label these properly. But yeah, so it's the hibiscus, I think. And and I don't remember if it's the modifier or not, but it's turning out really cute. I love the way it looks in these socks. Like, this is a good pattern because it definitely is what it is. It's like enough I can do it on the bus, enough I can put it down and pick it up. And also the way that she does her patterns, they're literally like line by line by line. So it's so easy to do, because if you have to put it down, you pick it up, you just look at your counter and you're like, okay, I'm right there. Yeah, so I've cast on the second one. Again, this is my bus project, so I realistically only get one round on the way and one round back, but you know, it's something to do. Nice and mindless. And so cute. I cannot wait to wear these. Yeah, so that's my knitting. My temperature blanket I haven't really worked on at all, which is horrible, but I have a vibe that maybe one day I am going to sit down and just spend the entire day doing nothing but crocheting. Yeah, that's the Fibre. Yeah, that's all the Fibre crafts I have. I'm like looking at where I sit on the couch, which is where they accumulate. Because I need the 4mm needles for the 2 sweaters I'm working on, so yeah. But I do have a sewing project. Okay, sorry about that. We are selling a house in Cork that we used to live in, and selling houses is not so simple in Ireland. It is a long, arduous process, and so I just had to deal with something for that, and I got the call. So, sewing. Okay, so it's a bit of a story and a half, but again, I'm going to post a full review on this pattern. So we were told by the bride that she wanted everybody in preferably white, but maybe blue as well. Like white with touches of blue was sort of the theme. So I was like, oh, well, first off, good, because Adam's suit is like a nice kind of off-white, like a kind of white that's being kissed by gray, you know, kind of that great. And so, yeah, so he was set, and like his tie is blue, his pocket square is blue. Yeah, he's all good, he's all blue. So, all blue and white, like perfect. With me, I don't look great in white. It's kind of a color I tend to avoid. Mostly because I don't look good in it. Also because I kind of spill on myself a little bit sometimes. You know, I just find it a very nervous color to wear. So, there's that. But I also truly believe that on your wedding and your birthday, you should get whatever you want. So, as long as it's a reasonable request, and I think that's a reasonable request. So luckily we had a bunch of white jersey that I was going to do a different project in that's just never going to happen. I've accepted that project's never going to happen. So I took that. I looked through all the patterns I had that were knit and kind of that were a little more formal, and I found M8174. And this is a really cute pattern. And I went to work on it. So let me stand up and kind of, this is the finished dress. I did a few alterations. I added 8 centimeters onto the bottom, 2 centimeters onto the bodice. All up, this is a McCall's pattern. So it had a lot of the pitfalls of the big four. I think the fit's a little off. If I were to make it again, I'd probably cut the bodice a size smaller. I mean, this is the issue with McCall's, is I don't know, they just, I think I'm kind of at the point in sizing with them where, because my hips are 30, but my, got it under my chair, my hips are 30, but my bust is, I think it might actually be a 26, maybe a 24, so I think I'm going to size out of just their entire chart, because despite the fact that, you know, like if you comment that you want different sizing on a pattern of any of the big fours, they just delete your comment. Like they don't want to hear it, they don't really care to hear it, so it's just really annoying because I'm going to be at this point where, okay, well my hips are in the plus and my bust and waist is in the standard. You'd think they'd have like a kind of in-between size, but yeah, so it's just kind of annoying. So I don't know how I'm gonna do that. I might need to put big four on a loop for, or on a hold for a while, but I don't know. In any case, with this dress, there is the fitting. There's a little too much ease in it. The hips weirdly fit perfectly. Like, I have no issues with the hips fitting. I'm gonna put a video of me wearing it as well in the back. But yeah, the sewing process was good. I don't think McCall or any of the big four really puts enough on finishing techniques. Like if you don't have a serger for knit, I think it's always good to do a second line of just zigzag so that you can really feel secure. Also, I think it helps the garment last longer. You know, I just, or even like when I put these together, because you ruche, the front has 2 pieces, they don't have you based. Or like this is, the top is lined and they didn't have you base the lining together. So it's just these little touches that I think make a product look really, really good once it's finished, and things that go from like homemade to handmade, which I find that McCall's doesn't really, well, any of the big four doesn't focus on. So maybe Vogue, but I haven't sewed a Vogue pattern in ages because they don't make my size. So yeah, in any case, I'm really happy with this dress. I think it did the perfect kind of Greek goddess vibe. It was so cute on the beach. It flipped in the wind perfectly. It was just a really beautiful way to be in Greece. So yeah. In any case, I think I've talked enough. You probably think so too. And yeah, so I'm gonna let you go. I'll put in some kind of clips of my trip and things we got up to in the past couple weeks. And yeah, oh, there is one thing I need your help with though. With this dress, I mean, look, the stitching on the hem is not great because I'm going to have to take it apart because with the color white, even this one, so yeah, I dipped it in tea to kind of take some of that harsh blue off. So I prepared a tea bath. I did 2 dunks of 30 seconds in it. One, red neutralizes blue. So it's like when you have really bad under eye circles and you just put a little red lipstick under it. Well, now they make color correcting concealer. But back in the day, we used to have to do, before beauty YouTube really, we used to have to just put a little red lipstick under it and it neutralizes because it cuts the color. So my thinking here is, my thinking was I'll do 1 dip to kind of cut it because the like kind of reddy brown tones in the tea will neutralize the blue and the white base, and I can get maybe more neutral white maybe a little longer, I'll get a warmer white. And I think I was really successful because if you look, like, it's definitely not the worst color on me. It turned out really cute. I was worried because when you look at it individually or against something, do I have a white piece of paper? When you look at it against a true white, it definitely does not look white anymore. But when you look at it alone, it looks white. This is the thing with color. Color is what the color next to it is. You know what I mean? So, in any case, as much as this color is not as bad as the blue-based white, I definitely don't want to keep it this color because I'm never going to wear a long white dress again. Yeah, mostly because I think there's always the bridal implication first off, and secondly, if I'm going to a formal event, like right now I don't have a truly formal dress and I want this to be that. And if I'm going to a formal event, there's probably going to be a lot of food there. I will probably be drinking a little red wine. Among other cocktaily things, I will probably be eating a lot. So, you know, like order some finger food. So I do not want a white dress. I just don't. I will have no fun. I will have so much anxiety. And with the red base white, it really does read very summer, and I prefer something a little more all season. So right now, I'm in between maybe the Dylon Plum Red, which used to be the Burlesque Red, and Deep Amethyst. I think the Deep Amethyst might be a little bright, so I might cut it with some black dye. I don't know. If you've tried it, let me know. I'm 100% soliciting opinions here. I need help. Yeah, so watch a clip of me walking in it. Let me know if you think it would be better in the plum or in the... But the plum is really just like a deep burgundy. And I like burgundy. Like, burgundy is such a sweet spot for me. But I also think a really stunning, like, purple moment would be very just fancy and royal, you know? Especially if I get, like, a good Tyrolean purple. Ooh! If you know a place I can get a good Tyrolean purple and Tyrian? The old school purple. And then with the draping, it could be like a very Roman royalty moment, which I also love. So, lots to think about. Thank you for putting up with me, and I'm sorry about this little angle change. And I'm sorry if I edit it really awkwardly, because I really don't know what I'm doing. Thanks so much, and I hope you'll join me again. Oh, future of this kind of vibe. So now that I'm working, I am going to try to keep to this chatty one on Wednesdays, but I don't know how good I'll be at that. I mean, I'm working tomorrow, so right now it's Tuesday, so when this goes up, I'll be at work. And, you know, that's just the way it is, but how am I gonna sync that with, I'll figure it out. But, yeah, so, like, I'm gonna do my best, but, you know, if I'm late a day or two, please forgive me. I'm gonna also try to upload a video another day a week. I'm in between Mondays and Fridays. I'm thinking maybe Friday? That's more of like a specific pattern review, maybe a little less chatty, or something like, you know, craft issues. So yeah, or maybe I'll just make a lot of, no, I'm not doing all of them. So, yeah, so I'll try to do something. I also really want to re-explore a lot of my old stuff and see how, I would have changed it maybe. And yeah, also acquisitions. I did in Greece. This is the only crafty thing I bought in Greece because thank God it was, everything was closed on Sunday in Athens because I bought so much. You could just go in a shop and buy leather for shoemaking. Honestly, I need to move to Athens. But I got this little color and learn Greek folk art. So they have like the craft, a little bit about it, and then the craft. So I'm so excited. I've not bought myself a coloring book in, God, almost like 7-8 years. So yeah. Anyway, goodbye for real this time. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed Cooper's lovely. We'll see you later. Bye.